All right, great. Is everybody recording? Okay, next question.
Yeah, so for my final question, I have something a little bit different, nothing music related per se, but I was wondering what's your favorite game sound-wise, and that's not counting the music, just like the sound design and the overall soundscape of a game.
So I think I have two answers for this one. Uh, one of them is Brawlhalla. I don't know if you know it. Yeah, so if you don't know it, it's okay. So everyone knows it. But I like the way the punches sound. I really like the whole design of the game. Like every character is very unique in every aspect, and the narrator going over like what happened and the emotion. Like I really love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, so Brawlhalla, for the people listening, it's a sort of 2D fighting game.
Yeah, it's a Smash Bros. Like game, but with a few quirks of its own that I think makes it a little better than Smash, but I might get like a mob on my door because of that, an angry mob.
Watch out.
No, it's personal opinion, guys. It's like not written in stone.
My answer would definitely be Overwatch, and I'm going to repeat why. The reason I would do Overwatch is because each character has a really unique sound. I saw a video where people would be like firing their primary gunfire, and you would be able to recognize what each character was. And a lot of their movements are really original, and all of their ultimates, like when they use an ability, you know exactly what ability they're using. So each character has a very unique and recognizable sort of soundscape, and I feel like that's very difficult to do in a game where there are so many different characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something I also like about Overwatch is the way it mixes sound. It's like different. That's something I like in modern games a lot. Like you can give certain groups of sounds different priorities. Like I haven't played Overwatch myself, but I think when somebody uses their ultimate, it's a global sound, so everybody on the map hears it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're like on the enemy team. Enemy sounds are a lot louder than your ally sounds, and also characters who are larger and more dangerous are a lot louder than other characters. Yeah. There are a lot of memes where like people just sort of like announce that they're sneaking, because there are some characters who are kind of like you're supposed to jump up and surprise people. Specifically, I'm talking about like Reaper, but he's also one of the loudest characters in the entire game.
Oh.
Repositioning. And his footsteps.
I love fighting games in general for their sound design, because it's always the same. Like somebody punches and somebody gets punched, but the way different developers and different styles interpret those things is so fun. Like you can tell the difference between a punch being landed in Skullgirls and a punch being landed in like those what's it called, the DC fighting games, the Injustice something, and like Killer Instinct even. It's the same action, but it's such a different sound.
It's actually kind of important, I think, especially in things like games where you have to make split-second decisions, that you have really comprehensible sound effects, because in terms of like humans and the way they react to things, they react to sounds a lot quicker than they react to visual things. So when you have a really great sound system where you can comprehend very quickly what's going on around you, with varying level of understanding of the game, then it's like really great for reaction times and things like that.
So in episode 1, you're also talking about Celeste.
Yeah, that's a great segue, because you were just talking about like knowing what's going on in the game, but go on.
Yeah. So Celeste has a awesome soundtrack, but it also has amazing sound effects, and I think that's something I might even enjoy more in the game than the soundtrack.
Huh.
Even though the soundtrack is also top 10 soundtrack material.
Sorry for interrupting, but like I didn't get to say my second answer, which kind of fits where we were going with like the 16-bit stuff, which I think you're really gonna like, which is Teleglitch. I was talking about it before we started recording. That game has no soundtrack at all because like you're in a deserted planet in a military research base that's been abandoned, so it's extremely quiet. The only sound you get is your footsteps, and then things start appearing, and you can hear like. Imagine this, like no sound at all. You're in a deserted base, and then you start hearing footsteps from far away, and they start getting close. And then like the sound effect is amazing, and you get the idea that someone's coming. Then later on, guards start shooting at you. So even if you're in another room, you can still hear them firing shots. So you know what's coming your way, and you start getting afraid because they're just like the worst thing to kill.
I like footsteps a lot.
Yeah.
Like whenever I play a game for the first time, the first thing I really pay attention to is the footsteps. I don't know, it's just something that's really satisfying to hear.
I said I really liked the Overwatch soundtrack, but in terms of footsteps, like I play Winston a lot. I'm really good at Winston, but I hate the sound effects for his footsteps. They're like whoosh, whoosh,
Winston's the gorilla, right?
Yeah, Winston's the big gorilla thing. It's just so annoying. When I first played the game, I instantly like realized, why did you pick this sound for the voice? Yeah, I know that at least like I've only explored sound effects in terms of like mostly like Dark Souls and a couple other games. I know that usually they have like a very subtle sound and then like something to change the pitch slightly each time so it's not repetitive. But what were you going to talk about?
Yeah, no, it's like Harm Yan was going to talk something about Celeste, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Celeste is awesome. I like Celeste. The soundtracks, the sound effects in Celeste, there's so many like subtle things. Like walking from one surface to the next one and jumping off that surface and then hitting a little lamp dangling from the ceiling. It all is like subtle. The subtle things have subtle sounds, and the important things have stuff that's mixed really well and something that's really hard to like notice. But if you pay attention to it, you'll hear it. When you dash from to left and when you dash to the right, it has a different sound. It's just a slightly different pitch, and it's so that, for instance, when you're jumping from wall to wall, jumping to the left and jumping to the right also has a slightly different sound. So when you jump back and forth, you're kind of creating this musical phrase, like chup 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 chup.
Yeah. I really need to buy Celeste so I can notice things like that. I've really just been like a fan of the soundtrack and the way that changes throughout the game. I'm going to try to come up with an example using my phone right here. There's a song in the game where you meet like a ghost. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In the hotel. The song's called Spirit of...
The ghost that runs the hotel?
Yes. It's called the Spirit of Hospitality. And when you first enter the hotel, let's see if I can get this live. Let's see. Yeah, you get something like... Nope, wrong one. I'm trying to get the... Okay, how about I just describe it? So, when you first enter the hotel, it plays a song. It goes... And, the idea behind the song... Wait, I found it. Okay, so here's the song, and it sounds like this. Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to solve basically like a couple puzzle sort of things. You have to like go through and fix a bunch of stuff. And then as you complete it, the idea is that the ghost who's hosting the hotel is becoming more and more frustrated that you're basically doing his work for him. So as the song progresses, it gets more like it adds synths and it adds different parts that make it less soft. So it adds a drum beat, and then it goes like that. It goes more and more crazy. You hear those synths? Yeah, and then
Yeah, it does that throughout the entire game. It's awesome.
Until he like goes completely mad, and then it adds. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, crazy drum jazz mess of the song. So basically, what I liked about that particular soundtrack was the way it was dynamic to what's going on in the game, and it represents basically like the feelings of different characters. So that's what I wanted to share.
There are a lot of parts in Celeste where stuff kind of changes as you go through the level, and I think almost every level has multiple versions of the same song that kind of transitions from each part to the next.
That's really cool.
So
I need
glad
to play that game.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome.
I'm so happy I was able to find that. Like, you really have to hear it to kind of like get what's going on. All right. So, anything else?
Anything else? What are my favorite sound games? I have a lot, and the most recent ones are Little Nightmares and Kingdom New Lands. Both of those games are 2D side-scrolling type of games, and they have a lot of focus on like environmental ambience, little details, and stuff like that. So throughout the entire game, it's listening to like little details, no big sound effects, no big explosions or anything. And that's something I really enjoy in games, when they just tone down the intensity of everything and make it more natural and more about subtle feelings. Let's see, I have some things written. Oh, do you know SSX? The snowboarding game. Yeah, it's about the sound design of the dynamic mixing in the music. Just to go back to music to close it off here. Everything you do in the game has an influence on how the music is mixed and panned and what filters are applied to it. If you have a chance to like get it, I think there's a remake on the PlayStation 4, or not a remake, a reboot, whatever. It's SSX for PlayStation 4. I think that one is good, but you should really try SSX 3 on. I had it on GameCube, so it's like that era of consoles. And the music mixing is so cool. When you do a big jump, it just takes away all the high end. So you just have this. You just hear the bass and like the drum part, and it applies a filter when you land a big jump. It all explodes back into each other, and like you get this really awesome feeling. It's all about making you feel awesome while going down the mountain.
And now, like, remembering how the sound chip works and thinking about this, I can even begin to imagine the headache that it must have been to make it work.
Yeah. Well, I think by that time you also had like audio middleware where it's just like, yeah, I think GameCube time was around the time where development tools were becoming more user friendly, as opposed to like having to cram every little sound byte and bit into your cartridge. But that's all I have to say about sound design for now. I could go on for 5 hours, but like, let's stop here.
That sounds like. Yeah, that's really foreshadowing. Like you're gonna appear again and again and again.
So was that all your questions?
Well, it's not all my questions, but I think if I ask all my questions, we'll be here for another 5 hours. And it's 10 o'clock here right now, so I kind of feel like this would be a good time to...
So do you think it's time that we wrap up?
Yeah, I kind of need to go have dinner.
So yeah, it's always funny because like with Tris, it's like kind of just 1 right now, but for you guys it's so late. All right, well, I had a really great time talking to you. I think, yeah, this was a really great episode.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Multiple files.
We all did.
Yeah,
everything is
working.
gonna be pitch perfect. I guess, is there anything that you wanted to do you want to promote anything, like a channel or something like that?
Well, I have a SoundCloud profile with the same name. It's not really active, or like, I don't know. I'm still not really proud of it because I'm starting, but it's if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to check out my whatever music, sound design work, game design, whatever, just Google 3x Blast on your preferred search engine, and you'll find me. Anyway, thanks for having us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. See you next time.
Ciao.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.